And we're back with the 50th running of the AJC Peachtree Road Race. We're going through all the waves now. Wave A just started a few minutes ago. Well into the men and women's elite runners. And last check, we had Brigid Kosgei in the lead for the elite women. These are 3 of the 6 fastest women in history competing today. And for the men, we had the brothers, Ronex, Caprudo, and Brigid Kosgei.
And let's set who you are hearing from today. Tony Revis is one of our analysts, along with Dave Grove, and Carrie Tollefson is in the press truck. So they are checking in and giving us updates on what we are seeing.
3 women on the right, Fancy Chimitai on the left, Agnes Tirop from Kenya in the middle, former world cross-country champion. And then we have the Brigid Kosgei, the marathon champion, on the right, shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. The brothers, Ronex Kiprodo, 19, his 18-year-old brother, Bravin, right on his backside. They got 2 sisters back home. They were talking about only one who's a runner right now, but these guys are just, teenagers and at the top of the world right now. But Ronex isn't using his brother as a pacer. He's leading the charge himself, but that's how confident he is. When he went over to the course yesterday, Shibi, he said that, it's not any tougher than that Central Park Healthy Kidney 10K course. And in that course last year, he ran 27:08, just 4 seconds off Joseph Kamani's course record here at Peachtree. The question is, it's a little more warm and humid here than it was in New York City. But the guy, he can lose 25 seconds on the hills and still break the course record if they passed the 10K, the 5K rather, in the time they wanted.
So give me a sort of style view of Ronex. His power is that his sort of signature? Is his distance power here, or is he more of a burst runner at the end?
Well, he closed in Stockholm when he ran that 26:50. In other words, they're trying to average 2 minutes and 40 seconds per kilometer here, 4:17 a mile. He wants to average 2:40. In Stockholm, his last kilometer was 2:34. So he can close like a son of a gun, as well as carry a hard pace. And just like in the wheelchair race, Romanchuk made his move on the hill at Cardiac, and that is where we're seeing Ronex make his move against Bravin. And he's opening it up. If you want the record, there's no nonsense. You got to take the risk. You got to go out on that limb and be ready to saw it off if you want that $50,000.
Have we gotten to the point now where a 19-year-old is really, that's where it is right now for these guys?
Well, there was a kid 20 years ago, there was a kid named Sammy Kipketer. Yep. He won the Carlsbad 5,000 out in San Diego in 13 flat. No one's come within 15 seconds of that record since. He was 18 years old. These guys can rise very quickly because of their lifestyle and their talent and their drive. The question is, can they maintain it? Sammy Kipketer sort of ran out of gas at age 22, and we never saw much of him again.
But you take a look at sports all around the country and all around the world. You got a 15-year-old from Atlanta,
Coco,
who is doing great at Wimbledon. You take a look at basketball players now, eventually that are going to be coming out of high school playing in the NBA. And golfers are the same way. You're not going to see golfers hanging out into their 30s anymore.
Jeff, when we were kids, all we did was we knew what was going on in the metro area.
Right.
Now with the internet, everyone knows what everyone else is doing. Everyone knows what everyone else is doing in training. And so everyone has elevated their game at a younger age throughout all sports.
All right, let's turn it over to
Carrie. And there may be
Carrie.
a higher burnout, too, with that.
Exactly.
Let's turn it over to Carrie Tollefson in the press truck following the women's elite runners.
Well, you guys, we have some exciting stuff right now. Brigid is going for this. This is the marathoner trying to overtake Agnes. And Agnes is coming off of a really good 3K at the Prefontaine last Sunday, which is on the track. They are starting to put some distance on Fancy, but Brigid is moving hard now. She just went through her 5th mile in 5:06. The record, I don't think it's going to happen, but she's pushing hard. She's going for it downhill here, and she's putting a little bit of distance on Agnes. Fancy doesn't want to give in, but Brigid has to move now. Being the marathoner that she is, she needs to try to grind that kick out of everyone else, and she's putting it on hard right now. She knows she's only got one more street before she makes that left-hand turn. So right now, Tony, she's coming hard. We've seen her do this. She's tough. She has the endurance to have that long kick, but can she outkick these 2 athletes that are more middle distance runners, 10K athletes, and even 3K athletes? We're coming on to 10th, you guys. We'll see you soon.
days, but she has run 29:54 on a slightly downhill course in Madrid last December. But we've seen historically that 29:54, you had about 20 seconds basically. So she could be a 30-20 10K road athlete as well. But just last Sunday in Stanford University at the Prefontaine Classic, we saw that T-Rop in second place ran 8:27 for 3,000 meters. That's like 4:35 per mile pace. But Brigid's not giving up anything, and now Fancy Chimotai, who won the BA 10K last weekend, is making her move, trying to close that gap.
Brigid really looks like she's pushing. I mean, just look at her face. That is my face when I'm almost done on the treadmill.
No, that's what.
You know,
comes Fancy. Here comes Fancy.
That's your face when I talk over you during the broadcast.
T-Rop as well. You know, Dave, this is just like the women's wheelchair race. It ain't over.
Until it's over.
It ain't over. So here comes Fancy, ran 30:36 just last week in Boston. And now she's gone to the front. 28:30 on the clock. So just about 2 minutes left of running for $50,000. And now the 8:27, now the 3,000 meter track runner is now coming up. But at the same time, Agnes is the 2015 World Cross Country Champion. So she's got the strength and the speed.
Keep your eye on the clock here. Keep it on the bottom there. The record to beat is 30:32. Right now the women are at 28:55.
And that's by 5-time champion Lorna Kiplagat, one of the great road racers in history. Certainly probably one of the greatest here, along with Gail Barron, who was a 5-time champion here at Peachtree as well.
And Gail Barron, the first winner of the Peachtree Road Race
so
long ago.
We started so well here at Peachtree with Jeff Galloway, an Olympian, and Gail Barron, an eventual Boston Marathon champion. And the elite aspect has always been at the very tip-top here in Atlanta for Peachtree.
Amazing how close they are together, just very similar to the women's wheelchair division. They are united, and someone's going to squeak it out here and possibly break an event record.
And you see the faces are beginning to really feel the pain.
But look at the arms on Fancy Chimotai. Carried a little bit lower, more drive, more power for Fancy. Look how high up the arms on Brigid are. She's not using her arms in sync with her legs quite as much. Fancy looks like she's got some gears left to go, but there goes Brigid. Brigid looks like she's working harder.
Once that extra money, man, look at her go.
Now Fancy looked like she's popped. She's out of it.
Oh, but look who's coming up on the right there. Is that Agnes is coming up there?
That's Agnes T-Rop. T-Rop looks like she's trying with everything she's got.
They are sprinting to the finish line.
Look at this race. Brigid's going to hang on with a lean. And it looks like 10 seconds, another $50,000 unofficially.
Unofficial. We're going to wait for the official time on that and whether the event record was in fact broken. But a phenomenal job by Brigid, Fancy, right there struggling for the lead.
And that is further evidence of the famous quote that sometimes the cost of money is too great.
I don't think it's too great for her right there.
What a great race between Brigid
Kosgei from Kenya, 25 years old, the marathon runner here, winner of the 2018 Chicago Marathon and this year's London Marathon winner. Apparently she hasn't lost a race since last September. Just really interesting to watch her running style. You know, just for the regular everyday person, just seeing that look on her face, we would think that she would have come in third, but she won it.
She pushed that race hard on Cardiac to make the break, but then they answered the call on the Arts Center hill, and she had something left in the tank for that final sprint downhill.
Tony, how many miles a week would she run?
Well, there's as a marathon runner, she's probably doing 120 or more, but now she's probably cutting back in this middle of the season. This is more the road season, so she's probably doing 90 to 100.
Staggering.
As Rodnix Kiproto has broken free of his brother, Bravin Kipto, and he's going after the record. Now, we've had very similar races on both the men's and women's elite wheelchair and men's and women's elite foot race, as it was 3 women in the wheels, 3 women on the foot. Now we got 1 man on the wheel and 1 man on foot, and we've had course records, and $50,000 has been given away 3 times. Can we make it 4 for 4?
You couldn't script it any better.